there was a wide receiver class at Auburn, I would say 2 to 3 years ago, that was much heralded. The production was decent last year, but again, it all ties together. If the quarterback can't get the ball to the wide receivers, then they're the most dependent players on the field. They need everything else to work to get the ball in their hands. And then if the quarterback's on his backside, then he can't operate effectively either. So your thoughts about the wide receiver position and how it sets up going into spring practice?
I think I've already I said that early, just hinting at it. Who's going to be the guy? Cedric Jackson, Bo Jackson's nephew, is there. He would be probably our most consistent, and he's been inconsistent at times, but he's also one of my favorite players. I love players with a good story, and obviously, how much better can your story be if you're the nephew of Bo Jackson? But he's also had some shining moments. If it's not for him and TJ Finley and Georgia State, Auburn's football schedule is looking much worse. So I would say that he is coming back and staying for this extra year is going to be another, kind of like we were talking about, offensive line. Helps you get over the hump to the next cycle. But really, Auburn needs someone within this recruiting cycle that they just picked up to step up. You know, there's a lot of people that like the 3-star Jay Fair, I think, as a speed guy. I think what Auburn did was they kind of went out and got 3 different types of wide receivers, a kind of a taller one, a speed guy, and then kind of your all-around wide receiver, giving them several different options. Gone are the days of Seth Williams, Anthony Schwartz, Elijah Stove. We could have really used them this past year, but you can't fault a guy like Anthony Schwartz for going to the draft and getting drafted as high as he did. I think Seth Williams, had he chose to stay this year, he would have benefited. Auburn would have benefited. Elijah Stove, he was basically like 50 years old. He had been around forever. So I don't fault him for wanting to go off and try something else. But wide receiver is another area. As much as we, lament and talk about the offensive line play, when they do get the job done, your wide receivers have to catch the ball. And they were dropping balls. They were missed a lot. That's the biggest thing for me, is how many times I watched before the Cornelius Williams firing, how often our wide receivers were offsides lining up. That's step number 1. That can't happen. And so that's why that fire in hindsight makes sense to me. So as you can tell, I've jumped around a lot on the wide receiver topic there. There's a lot of convoluted issues to be addressed, and hopefully it's something, the main takeaway would be someone needs to step up, whether it's Cedric Jackson this year or it's one of these new ones coming in and say, I'm the guy, send your attention to me, defenses, and then it opens up for everybody else.
Jackson caught 40 last year and a touchdown reception as well. Kobe Hudson, 44 catches, 4 touchdowns as well.